So we're waiting for the go from our producer, right?
We are waiting for the go.
All righty, go. Fantastic. So, welcome to the campus party in Berlin and the upcoming celebration of the Internet Campus Party partnership. This is a fantastic event, and I'm Ted Mooney. I think most of you know who I am. I'm the Senior Director for Membership and Chapters, and
I'm Paul Brigner. I'm the Regional Bureau Director for North America for Internet Society.
I need to thank Paul for having set all this up, and Jolie for making sure that the live stream was all operational and making this whole event happen. We couldn't have done it without you two guys, and I am extraordinarily appreciative of everything that you've done.
Yep, happy to help.
What I thought we'd do, I would like to talk a little bit about some of the things that we've already engaged in, but I think before that, people want to know a little bit about what we're doing here. Why is the Internet Society here with the campus party? And in truth, it's an extraordinary opportunity, I think, for all of us to come together and invigorate both organizations. The Campus Party is a group of mostly young people, but not all young people, who are brought together by their love for technology. They engage in technology endeavors, whether it's building robots, a hackathon, building mobile apps, sharing information, and all of that. And they want to do that for the betterment of mankind. This is their direction. But the truth is, it's a very broad direction, isn't it? And if we look at what the Internet Society brings, we have a focus for a lot of that energy, that capability, and we share so many of the same values. We share the permissionless innovation that the Internet brings to everybody. We share the accessibility of that permissionless innovation for everybody in the world. And so there's a really strong confluence of values and of mission direction that we want to really channel to enable both organizations to do more.
The partnership really makes sense. Before we go further though, I think maybe we should talk a little bit about this event where we're at, because some of the viewers may not understand what this Campus Party Europe is all about and how big it is and what kind of venue we're at. It's pretty impressive.
So we're at the old Tempelhof Airport, and this hangar extends probably almost a kilometer in an arc around the old airport, and the entire hangar is filled with the stages like the one you see behind us. We were describing it earlier. From my view, this direction, there are at least 8 different stages, plus a main stage where we'll be speaking tomorrow, where all kinds of different events are taking place. And these people come from around the world and participate 24/7 for a week in all of these different activities. It's really, really amazing.
Yeah, we've talked to some of the organizers throughout the week, and they've described how they have bussed in students from colleges around Europe and have organized groups to come from even further to be here all week. And the 24/7 nature of this is real. Like, they actually have tent cities. At either end of this massive facility, there's rooms that are full of tents, and it just seems to go on forever, where these kids are staying, sleeping on the concrete, and getting to know each other better, I suppose. It's a very close community, so I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Think of it as a technology festival for geeks. The unofficial count is already over 9,000, and I think they are expecting a total of over 10,000 to actually participate with the ebb and flow for the entire week. But I don't think we could leave talking about the venue until we mention the food kiosks and the dedication to health food that seems to be lacking from any of the possible venues and places we might be able to get a meal here.
That's for sure. I mean, it's there's some, though, local cuisine, so yeah.
There is currywurst, and some other strange things that we've probably all partaken of. But you get pretty hungry doing this.
We had some sausage, definitely.
Lots of sausage. You know, you can't come to Germany and not have Wurst. But they have some ethnic food and the occasional cookie and muffins, and thank God, a 24/7 coffee place right by the main stage. So
I kind of expected the coffee to be free, though, to be honest. In this kind of crowd, I expected it just to be
and the Red Bull.
Yeah, and the Red Bull too. And yeah, so you do have to pay, unfortunately. We'll have to change that when this comes to the United States, hopefully in 2013.
That's
to Silicon Valley.
The idea is, we believe it's going to come to Silicon Valley and at Moffett Air Force Base, at the NASA Ames hangar that's out there. Still a lot of logistics to be worked out between now and then, but we have our San Francisco chapter. Hopefully some of you are on this broadcast, and you've been helping to make that happen as well. Thank you to Mike Snell and everybody out in San Francisco for doing that. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that we've been doing. What do you think?
You bet. Go ahead.
So last night, it was a surprise to us that one of their speakers bailed or was moved to another venue, and they asked us if we would be ready to go on with a presentation of our own. And far be it from us to turn down such an opportunity, even though it gave us about two hours to prepare, as you can tell.
Yeah.
And our European director, Frederick Donk, came up with a great idea that we should do a panel around the theme of the future of the internet. And I hope all of you have had the chance to see the 4 videos that we have around the 4 potential scenarios for the internet in 10 years. The porous gardens, the boutique networks, the moats and drawbridges, and the common pool. So what we did is we presented with 4 of us. There is Vidya Pasanik, Frederick Donk, Paul, and myself on the panel. And what we did is we showed one of those videos and then had a quick discussion about the influence of that and what might happen in terms of either Europe or in terms of internet leadership going forward in the next 10 years. And then we invited discussion and questions from the audience after that. And to our little bit of a surprise, most of the seats were filled most of the time. Although there's a bit of an ebb and flow, as you can imagine, an event like this. And one of the great things that I recall from that is that a number of people came up and said, I've never heard of you. I've never heard of the Internet Society. What can I do to participate? What can I do to become a member?
Yeah, I think that hopefully we motivated some of them to join the Internet Society, learn more about us, and that's really one of our primary goals here, to help recruit some of that new enthusiasm. And then this morning, we started early.
We did. We started at 10 o'clock, and Paul, and he'll talk about in just a second, was on a panel that was talking about digital intellectual property, of which Paul's been involved in a long time, for those of you who know him. And it was quite an interesting panel. So Paul, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about it?
It was a good panel. We had someone there from the Creative Commons in Denmark, and we had another representative from the Pirate Party. So I was representing, of course, the Internet Society.
The voice of reason.
I hope so. But what I pointed out is that the views that they were sharing were really very important, and they were expressing thoughts for what they thought might be the future, and they were pushing for those policy reforms. And I completely support that, and I wish them the best. I don't know that we're going to get there where they were talking about too soon. I think it's going to be a while before we have the major reforms that they mentioned. But in the near term, I think the Internet Society can play a very important role in bringing together the content creators, the internet service providers, others from the technology community to come up with some reasonable approaches that will hopefully help the internet grow and develop. So we are live, and we did have someone just walk in front of our screen.
That's right.
That's okay.
Yeah, so it was quite interesting, some of the takes from the panel about the fact that business models have not kept pace with the technology innovation, and not just the technology innovation, but the ways in which people really want to acquire, create, develop, reacquire, reuse content. And it's important that our business models actually do keep up, and some of them were citing specific examples of how, if the organizations do restructure in a way that accommodates what users want, that they're not actually losing money. What they're doing is they're promoting a new business model that makes money in the future.
I do think that's very true. Having worked pretty closely with the content creators, I think that they find the transition to be very daunting and difficult, and I understand that as well. So hopefully we will all work together and realize the vision of 7 billion people online, a completely new market that's open for distribution, and I think that would overwhelm the revenues that they're currently receiving with the audiences that they have today. So the future is bright, it's just getting there is not so easy.
Yeah, I think there's a sort of a utopian view of the democratization of capitalism which may or may not be possible, but the idea that some of them were talking about was that so much of the content that had been in the hands of the large organizations, because they were the only ones who had the investment capacity to, say, market a global work of art or a novel or anything like that, that an individual couldn't possibly do. Now that advantage has gone away, and that those content owners can market their own work over the internet to very specific individuals or markets all by themselves at very, very low cost. And to that extent, there is a democratization of those business models. But I also think that there is a lot of creativity still in a lot of these organizations that have been doing this for a while, a lot of good experience. And the challenge, I think, for all of us at the Internet Society in particular is bringing those conversations to a head so that we're talking to each other and working through those solutions together, the content providers, the content creators, the local distributors, the global distributors, and merging those ideas and those needs with the technology that the Internet's making available.
It's true. You know, I feel pretty special right now in the technology we're using. You know, you stop and think about it, this is pretty amazing stuff. We're streaming to our audience on the internet with great quality, and you know, it's special. So this is just a small example of what's possible.
Yeah, it's terrific. It would take normally a studio, a couple of other producers, and who knows what else, makeup artists.
And it would have to get somebody to hire us to do this professionally. I don't know.
That's right.
It's unlikely.
So we're pretty jazzed to be able to do this, truly, truly. So a little bit about the rest of the day, well, I shouldn't say the day today, but
tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Big day.
Tomorrow is a big day, and what we're doing tomorrow is we're starting off on the main stage where Christine Runiger, whom many of you know as a senior policy advisor here at the Internet Society, will be on a panel to discuss privacy in the digital world. Something she's very well versed in. She consults to the European Union and any number of other large policy-making organizations and think tanks on the whole issue of privacy in the new world. And we're very, very anxious and excited to see how that panel shapes up. It's going to be for an hour tomorrow. It'll be live streamed, I think, as well, like all of the sessions here are. So I would certainly invite anybody who's out there to take a look at this and listen to the panel and Twitter in your questions and comments.
You bet, you bet. And the big event, though, that I'm very excited about is announcing the partnership. And this is something that, Ted, you've really spearheaded and created something where I think it's going to be really special for the foreseeable future and really change the Internet Society fundamentally, I think, over time.
Well, I'm really excited about it, to be sure, and it came about with almost serendipitously. Some of you may remember for the Global INET, we were looking for panelists to participate in the panel that I was responsible for, which was the transformational power of social media. And among the people that I contacted early on was Paco Racajales, who is the president and founder of the Campus Party. And Paco and I became pretty quick friends for a lot of reasons and on more than one level, which was very exciting. And he was the one who then said, we really want all of our campuseros, all of the Campus Party members, to become members of the Internet Society. We want them to join chapters. This was his vision for the Campus Party regulars. And that's when we started talking about, well, how can we then participate? How do we make that happen? And we decided that we would start off with a statement of principles that we would sign jointly, and we wanted to make sure that it was ready in time to announce here. This is their annual event. And so not only are there 9,000 or 10,000 of the campuseros present here, but many, many more are watching around the world and participating in Campus Party events regionally and locally. So the opportunity then to reach them is going to be extraordinary for us. There is the possibility of a strong influx of their ideas and energy into each and every one of our chapters, honestly. That alone is extremely exciting, bringing that energy and that optimism. But now the opportunity to grow our own membership and to channel that focus and energy from their love of technology to a real social good, to the mission of the Internet Society, has, I think, some extraordinary potential. It won't be done without hard work. It's not just an if you build it, they will come. We're thinking that tomorrow's signing is not a culmination so much as it is a beginning. And then it's up to all of us, and I think in many ways, to figure out how we're going to make that happen, how to really leverage this partnership.
Well, haven't we already made some pretty significant changes for the campuseros? So, for example, I don't know the details of this, I'm sure you do. Have we created a special membership category for them, or is that the intention?
Right, so there is as some of you may know, there is in fact, according to the bylaws in the Internet Society, a student membership. And what we've done is we've rejuvenated the student membership and offered it at a discount to the campuseros. And what we'll be able to do at this point, and this is something that all I think of our members need to know, is that for that student membership, we're going to offer membership cards and discounts to all of the Internet Society events. Someone might be saying, well, gee, if they're all for free, what difference does a discount make? But in truth, as the future moves and we progress toward different types of models for different types of events, Global INET, Internet Hall of Fame, and many others, we expect that this opportunity to be a discounted entrant to a lot of these events will be meaningful. But even more than that, there's a little button on the Become a Member site that you can click that says, I am a campusero. And it will take them to a special sign-up page that will then allow them to join the Internet Society, either as a global member or as a campusero member, and then get these additional benefits. So it's a bit of an experiment.
Yeah.
But we believe, and we've talked to our friends and counterparts here at the campus party, that this has real opportunity to help infuse our student memberships with some real life.
Yeah, well, it's obvious that you're taking it very seriously, and we're taking some very concrete steps, which is exciting. And you can imagine how we could expand all of our other programs to help bring campuseros in. For example, the Internet Leadership Program, tailoring specific educational programs for campuseros. It could really be a significant endeavor.
Yeah, there is real opportunity. Some of these people are most of them in fact, are extremely bright and eager to find ways to contribute. The fact that we have a channel like the Internet Leadership Program, I think, is significant. I also think that the opportunity for chapters is not just for new members, but new members to volunteer, to contribute, to work on projects. And that will be, I think, some of the telltale of whether or not this has really been a success or not. And I'm really hopeful that we'll be able to find those ways to channel that energy into our own chapter projects in particular. So let's see. One of the things we'll want from everybody out there is, how does this work? I expect you'll have questions about maybe how to contact campuseros in your own neighborhood, and certainly we want to help provide that. There's a lot more that we want to provide administratively for all of our chapters, so that they can contact proactively if they want to, or know how to react when they are contacted by the campuseros. So we'll be working with the membership group here to put those things together and provide you some real concrete information, some talking points, and some ideas that you may want to talk to them about. And we're also really interested in your ideas. So as you think this through and as you make contact, how can you then percolate those ideas up so that we can then spread that out to the rest of our organization and our membership? So think about that.
You bet.
And please contribute.
Well, I think we're learning a lot from the campuseros and this organization just by being here too. The way they put this organization on is really, this event on is really unique. And maybe we can bring some of this to our events. I don't know. What do you think about we kind of do the multi-stage thing already, right?
We do some of the multi-stage thing, not quite in this open format.
Yeah, this is a little different.
You know, so the acoustics can be a little bit challenging, as maybe you can already tell from the way you can hear us and what's going on in the background. But there is some bit about the energy, about always something happening, about having different projects, not just having talking heads and not just having workshops, but doing things, creating things. One of the things we talked about, and this is something I'd really like some feedback on, is sponsoring a contest for the campuseros. And maybe for not just the campuseros, but for our entire membership. To create, for example, a socially responsible game that can be played on a mobile phone, and offer this contest with certain criteria and have a real reward at the end of it, where it's a scholarship and it's a trip to the Internet Hall of Fame to meet Hall of Famers and maybe any number of things. And by creating that, one is we've channeled a lot of energy. We can give out multiple levels of awards. And think about then what we now have. These campuseros and our membership will have produced a socially responsible game that we can now promulgate for free over the mobile internet. And
Right.
Wouldn't that be special?
It really would. Yeah, there's just so many opportunities here. While we have been here, I wanted to mention that we have run into a few of our longtime and very involved Internet Society members. And we've actually done some video interviews with them. Just behind us, I don't know if we've mentioned this since we went live or not, but behind us on the stage is Hans-Peter Dittler. And he is an officer. I'm not sure what his exact position is in the Germany chapter of the Internet Society, but I think he's been with that chapter since its formation.
He's been with the German chapter since the beginning of the Internet Society, as far as I know.
Yeah, and the German chapter is actually quite large, and it's one of the earliest.
And also, Hans-Peter Dittler was himself a campusero. One of the reasons he was invited back is he's a Campus Party alum and an Internet Society member. So he's very encouraging of all of these kinds of things that we're trying to do right now. He thinks there's real opportunity, as do we, and we hope you do as well. And there's opportunities to participate. One of the things we haven't talked about yet is some of the other things that the Campus Party does throughout the year. While they have this one annual event, one annual global event, throughout the rest of the year there are regional and country events. And so to the extent that we have chapters in any of those countries, upcoming, we know that there's a Brazilian campus party that's coming up soon. There's an Ecuadorian campus party that's coming up soon. So we would love for our LAC chapters to be involved with both of those and any others that we can find out that are upcoming. And I'm sure that there are others throughout Europe and Asia throughout the course of 2013, and as we said, the Silicon Valley
coming next year. Yeah, I have a feeling it's not going to be too hard to get chapters involved, because these are actually a lot of fun. When you come here and you get to see the kids working and all of their enthusiasm and their dedication to all these different kind of projects that are going on around here, it is very, very cool. It's inspiring to see what kind of youth are, how they're focused on technology and so many different types of technology in a venue like this. I'm definitely inspired and happy I had a chance to see it. It's cool stuff.
It really is. It really is. So that's it for Campus Party for the most part. We'll be here through tomorrow. I'll be up and I'll be closing with a signing ceremony for our agreement and talking briefly about why this opportunity is important and the values that we share, a little bit about why we believe it's so important to be supporting the accessible, open, global, and multi-stakeholder governed internet. And then the next steps, which will be to continue and build upon the momentum that we've started here. So,
that is outstanding.
I think a couple of things is, do we have anybody texting in or asking any
we
questions?
do. We have some comments, and we had someone join us from Mexico, and
Hola!
And I don't know that, I don't see a name here, but thank you for joining from Mexico. That is awesome. And he notes that they're going to be having a campus party in Mexico.
Is that Alejandro? It could be.
Could
in
be.
any case,
it's Leon from Mexico.
It's Leon. Excellent.
Hi, Leon.
So, campus party in Mexico, that'd be fabulous, and that would be something that would be wonderful for any of us to participate in.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see. Yeah, great to see you too. So, any other questions? Get on the chat. Please send them in. We'll hang around here and just chat for a minute while the questions come in. Would be happy to answer any that you have. Make this a more interactive session.
While we've got everybody here, I'd like to just mention something, put another plug in for something I may have mentioned, I did mention in the ICANN in Costa Rica, and that is that we really want to hear from chapters and all of our members about what are the key issues that you think we, the Internet Society, and by we I mean we, the Internet Society, all of us, need to be focusing on in 2013 and beyond. And we know that there are some significant challenges right now, certainly to the multi-stakeholder governance model. We know that there are challenges regarding intellectual property and business models. What are the key things that you think we need to be focusing on? And while I've mentioned some of the strategic issues, so I also think I'd like to hear from you about what are the key operational issues. And I'll give you one example that you've heard of probably since way before my time, and maybe talk to you about an idea that's been percolating around that I did some research on, and that is our engagement platform.
Yeah, that could be improved.
You know, I know that we have a strong feeling toward open source, and I think that there's a lot of good reasons to be favoring open source whenever we can. But from a practical standpoint here, we haven't got the internal IT resources to be able to support an entire organization on open source. And we're not well enough organized, I don't think, to try to go out to bid for all the great talent we have in our chapter sphere, to be able to bring that in and make the kinds of contributions that we could and would need to do to make all of the open source applications work. So I certainly do want to continue to hear from all of you on that, but I've also been investigating what some other large global associations and mission-driven organizations are doing to help with the engagement of their chapters and their global members. And there are some really good, really open solutions out there, although they aren't open source. They are easily deployable, very easy to use, and quite honestly would take us from being a decade in the past to being up to date and forward-looking, which is really where I hope we will be going in the very near future. So I mentioned this to you now because I'm going to be asking for some feedback, for a little bit of a look at some of the things that we've been researching, to get you all to weigh in on some of these things so that we can make some real progress in providing more capability for you all to speak to each other on really important issues, for us to easily gather feedback, for you all to more easily manage your projects and your membership and clear up this administrative burden that you all have. I know you've heard this before, and I'm not promising anything. I'm asking that we work closer together to make sure that it happens.
Always looking for feedback.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So they send you the email, I suppose?
Yeah, absolutely send me the email. You can go to me directly if you like. You can also send it to chapter support because I was meeting with the chapter support team.
Very good.
One other thing I wanted to mention while we have chapter leaders on the phone is that we have gone out and requested a replacement for Ann Lord for a director of chapters. And I'm really happy to report that we have had a number of very strong candidates. Some of them have come from the chapter sphere themselves, and some of them have come from people who have worked with the Internet Society either directly or tangentially in the not too distant past, and who have some very, very good ideas, are very well spoken, and are very, very chapter focused, which is a key criteria for me as we go forward with the selection. One of the promises that I am making now, and I won't make a lot of promises, one of them is that as we go through the selection process, before any offer is made, I want to get some feedback from a number of chapter leaders, and I'll give them the opportunity to speak to the finalists to be sure that this is someone that they're going to feel comfortable with, or at least have the opportunity to weigh in on what their reaction is to somebody in such an important position that's going to come on board. So I hope that if you're interested in being among those people who will talk to this finalist or two, that you do let me know so that we can schedule that in within the next 3 weeks.
Great. That's going to be it's a challenging job, an extremely challenging
really
job.
Challenging job.
I'm very hopeful we get someone great into that role. I'm sure we will. So Mr. Pasanti did join us. Professor Pasanti joined us. So hello there.
Dr. Alejandro, welcome. Hola, Alejandro.
So I think we should wrap. I mean, this has been a great meeting, and we've had good turnout here. We've got a couple 25 viewers at one point online, so
outstanding.
Good. Maybe more next time. Well, we need to work on our publicity, our social media, to get the word out a little bit more.
I think a little bit more planning as well. One of the things I have to say, and again, I started my my speaking with this, and I want to certainly say it again here at the end, that Paul has been just really instrumental in enabling this kind of opportunity with his love of audiovisual and broadcast, that we're able to put this together and bring you out something live from this campus party event. And we're going to try and do more and more of that. We want to make this more common, and by so doing, we'll be able to actually plan around it and get more information out to you and get other ways that you all can participate as well. So great thank you to Paul. Great shout out to Jolie, who's been really, the brick for our live stream capability since before I joined, and I want to thank Jolie again as well.
You bet. Well, we're making some strides. It's exciting on all fronts. So thank you all for joining from Campus Party Europe.
Yeah, let's, any last comments here?
Last comments?
We'd like to just hear if there's anything more that you have to say. Otherwise, really thank you for joining.
So I understand we have Leon that says don't miss Campus Party by night because a lot of things happen at night. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to hang around tonight. I don't know if I want to see
I'm sorry,
that.
This already is night for a lot of us, isn't it? No, but you're right. And the hackathon, the 24-hour hackathon, for example, started at 9 o'clock tonight. So it's going to go through 9 o'clock tomorrow. They're just getting geared up right now. Yeah, Campus Party at night is quite an event. In fact, just an interesting statistic that we were told, if you judge by the usage of the network, when you look at the network statistics, it's completely flat for 24 hours, which is to say there's every bit as much network activity at 3 in the morning as there is at 3 in the afternoon, as there is at 8 in the morning, as there is at 10 at night.
And as you can imagine, they have a pretty robust internet connection here. I think that they've got a graph over there showing the 100 gigabit link that they're pushing almost to the max. It's impressive. So, well, there we go.
Thank you all for joining us. I hope this has been at least some fun for all of you. A little time out, a little bit of us bringing you some of our experience, and I hope that in the future, some of you bringing that experience to the rest of us as well.
You bet.
So all the best from Berlin. Thanks so much.
Thank you for joining.
Good night, or good day.